Okay.
All right,
You down and
everybody.
clown?
Welcome back to Top Bins with Twins.
Oh.
I started the podcast early on Luke, and I almost, almost caught him stopping his dog from breaking into the bathroom. But, Luke's committed to the dog dad life. We're also committed to the FPL life here, too, on the pod. We're going to kind of dive into some different topics today that are going to help you prepare for the upcoming FPL fixtures that are going to return this weekend for game week 22. But just to give you a little idea, Luke, go ahead and tell us though, how are you doing? How's life? How are you feeling about your team? All these different things. You
Oh,
take it wherever you
thanks,
want.
Paul. Yeah. Good impromptu start to the podcast there. I like it. You're keeping me on my toes, just like
I
my
was
dog
hoping for a
West
little
is.
more, honestly, of like
Yeah,
West like
it was a good try. A good try. You
freaking
almost
you
got
out a
it
little
though.
bit, but no, it's okay.
Maybe next time. Maybe next time. So, all is good for me. To kind of sum up how my week has been, I was sitting in this very chair I'm sitting in right now during a call at the end of last week. As I was sliding forward, I broke one of the wheels off my chair. And that was a sign to me saying that maybe I need to go to the gym. Maybe my luck has not been what I hope it has been. And I think that's been translating into FPL lately because my FPL team
Yeah.
is not doing so hot as of late. I haven't been doing horribly, but I haven't been doing great. So it's kind of that just
Mhm.
like that rotation of staying in the same depth that you started out in. Just like it's like an American football because we watch American football.
Hey, we went to
We
basically
did
a playoff
yesterday. We did
game.
yesterday. But
That wasn't yesterday?
what well, we did go to a local Buccaneers game. It was a regular season game though. But what I'm trying to say is you see a player run around the field for a good 10, 15 seconds and he ends up gaining no yards. That's what I feel like in FPL right now,
Yeah.
where I've run completely around the field and then got tackled right at the line of scrimmage. So I do not feel like I feel like I've been trying to do a lot, but have not gained any ground at all. And for everyone on the podcast, here is West.
Oh, look at him.
He's watching. Um, probably a little angsty right now, as he
You
typically is.
want
But
dinner round two in a walkie.
yeah, yeah, he's high standards here, high standards, just like me with my FPL team. So, yeah,
Yep.
it is what it is. But everything considered, all is well. Paul, how has your FPL luck been lately, and how's everything going for you in general?
It's been okay. I mean, I will say that I don't think my team's in a good spot right now. I have Calafiori, I have Michael Keane, the enigma of an FPL asset who scored a goal, got a red card, like is
Michael
now out
Keane,
for
the Street Fighter.
yeah, not honestly, just kind of a dumb red card if we're being honest. But
Yeah,
and then I
completely
also have
unnecessary. Yeah,
yeah, I have Mente in my team. I went with a lower tier option in the midfield with what's his name? Josh King, and he's
uh,
also been hurt. So just just a lot of flags. I think it's possible there could be another one impending with Cole Palmer. So I have
yeah.
two transfers going into this week. So it's
Okay.
gonna be a
Okay.
multi-week effort to get stuff righted. But I'm still sitting at let me see.
Hmm. Paul? Do you think will you be moving on Cole Palmer? Is that what you're thinking?
I mean, I think it's more important at this point in time to get probably Phil Foden out because he's been absolute dog shit. And now you have another attacker. 5 game weeks, right?
5 blanks in a row. Yep.
5 blanks. Hot and cold player. I knew that when I
Yeah.
transferred him in, and it's just a tough time in FPL right now. And
It's
I will say I have been sick over the past week, and I'm feeling a lot better now. But if I'm sniffling, coughing, whatever it is, I apologize to everybody listening.
Paul, you know what we talked about earlier today. You got to beat the Victorian boy allegations. You can
I'm
do
not.
it. Can do it. but I think, it's gonna take some time. It's gonna take some time.
Well,
You
let me
gotta
tell
work
you,
through that reputation.
I'm telling everybody and you this, Luke, but I'm committed to making a smoothie a day at home so I can have some fruits.
There you go.
I
Yeah.
wanna be making good meals at home so that I can really build up my strength and keep
For
that.
FPL. Paul Paul starts going to the gym, Paul starts eating healthy, doing all these things for FPL.
I mean, until May rolls around and then May hits and the beach body's just gone, because it's like, what's the incentive? I just
I mean, personally, I work out and I try to eat healthy so I can have at least another 80 years of FPL. That's that's why I, take care of myself personally, purely for FPL. So that's how committed we are here at Top Ends of Twins.
yeah,
So,
maybe you're just a masochist. I mean, if you want 80 more years of FPL, like that's some true degenerate shit right there.
well, stay tuned, everyone, for the FPL specific workouts that we'll be sharing with you shortly in a
Oh,
easily digestible $100 PDF. So
yeah. Yeah,
that
we'll
will not be happening.
put that in the link on our Discord.
Yeah, yeah. On that note, let's get into some helpful content for the FPL managers out there, Paul. Um, what I want to start out with is I'll kind of talk about my game week, and let's just go through our team scores real quick so everyone can have a roundup of how we performed. Very high level. I ended up on 45 points. I captained Holland, so I get 12 points out of him. That's not really doing anything for your overall rank at this point. Holland is currently at 74.3% ownership, so his effective ownership alone really kind of kills any captaincy unless he just massively falls. So,
Yeah,
um, not too much there. I had a clean sheet from Gabriel. Lewis Hall and Tarkowski hit DEFCON, so 4 pointers from them. And then Saka gets the clean sheet point, and Voltamade subs on and gets an assist. So
which
there
he
are,
did. Which, look, I will say I watched the highlights right before we recorded this, and like you could argue he stole that assist from Anthony Gordon.
I mean, kind of, but he redirected it as well, so it wouldn't have fallen to him,
Yeah,
I think.
it's a very loose argument, and I just say
Yeah,
that as
you
Gordon.
know, continue to make that argument if you want, but, yeah, Paul, tell everyone how your team is doing, and, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I
how many
like I
points
said
did you end on?
earlier, there's a lot of things that need to change. I ended on 55 points. I captained Holland. He at this point in time, I mean, he got the pen, but just not sorry, not consistent. And one of the highlights of my season, bringing in Tiago. He's been great so far.
Yeah,
He had what was it, 1 goal this past week? No, 2 goals. 2 goals, yellow
mhm,
card, 3 bonus. He's probably, you could argue, a better pick right now in FPL than Holland, especially for price point, everything else going on. But yeah, my team's a dumpster fire right now, just fighting to stay at the top of the mini league and then also keep that rank kind of where it is
yeah,
at this point in time. But
yeah. Thiago, did you
yeah,
realize this? Thiago had 0 XG in the 6 games building up to his hat trick. 0 XG. Like, that means he had no chances, no shots, nothing. And then he goes on this tear where, he gets a hat trick, gets a brace right after that, and he's looking like one of the best picks in FPL right now. Um,
yes, I would agree with you.
that's one of the things that, man, I feel like early season, I was on a lot of players and just didn't have the guts to go with them. But I mean, you can go back and listen to some of these podcasts. Like I was saying, I think Thiago is going to be a great pick. I like Shota a lot. He had that hat trick a couple weeks ago. Um, Phil Foden was someone who, there's just a lot of things where I just need to be
You
better
had
about trusting my
Gordon,
gut.
Voltamata, like just
I
you.
don't, I don't make a good sheep, and I think I've been a little too sheepish as of late. So it's time to start, making some moves, I think. Um,
Yep.
but maybe not making the moves immediately. I think moving slower is sometimes slower is faster sometimes. So I'm gonna try to be very analytical and very, spot on with how I'm making my transfers going forward. So
Yeah. I will say, Luke, I think another thing though, like we always talk about this, but maybe sometimes going more eye test and just looking at like, I mean, the numbers are great, blah blah blah, XG, whatever. But
is it
it's
real?
yeah, I mean, according to Villa, it's not. But I do think that like the eye test though, at this point in the FPL season, like I watch every Arsenal game. I've watched a lot of Crystal Palace's games. Like at this point in the season, I think with January transfers not regarded, that we kind of know looking at these teams who's going to be producing the attacking returns or keeping clean sheets, hitting depth
Hmm.
on. We have a big database of just games that we've watched, of
Yeah,
data for you all
yeah,
for other people to look at too. Where I mean, data does lie at times, but watching the games, I mean, I think that like I as an FPL manager, you should probably be able to look at every team in the Premier League and say this is probably the best asset. This is like the second best asset. You know, all those different things, and then
right, right.
having like a list of that where it's like, okay, well, I see a good run of fixtures. This is who I want to go with if it's possible in my budget. You
Yeah.
know?
Hmm. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I hear you. I think that there is a certain, you know, appeal that I have this feeling of being more inclined towards the numbers and looking at the data, but as we've talked about many times, usually the best FPL managers are really kind of a mix of looking at the analytics, understanding the data, but also watching how things unfold on the pitch and having a better idea of how to digest that and then make the numbers make sense from there. So, yeah, I think that's really good advice though. Do you hmm, going into this game week, do you feel like Cole Palmer's in your team and he's like you said, there are multiple problems. Do you think you're going to be making any transfers, or do you think you're going to try to wait it out a little bit before as you go into the game week?
No, man. It needs to happen. Like I would be making transfers like now, but I with the fixtures going on and everything like that. And I'm just traditionally somebody too that like I don't like making early transfers because
Hmm.
there's just been times where I've made a transfer Sunday afternoon after the games are over, and then
Right.
it leaks out Tuesday that there's been a knee injury and a back training kind of thing, and like
Or
I just
or Calafiore gets injured in the warm up, and then I know,
right,
right? Right.
we don't talk about that, Lucas.
Oh, apologies. Apologies.
The
Yes, you're
Italian
right.
stallion will be back. He'll be back. You just wait, and Arsenal will be clicking again. And not bringing it up, but Kai Havertz is back too. So
Should we go into the Kai Havertz segment now, or do you wanna
no. We'll leave it for the Discord as well. We'll leave it
Okay,
for that.
okay, nice,
But
good, good.
no. I do think, Luke, that there's a lot of changes that need to be made to my team. And at this point, it's like I need to build a priority list of what actually needs to be changed this week compared to later down the line because
Mhm.
there's a laundry list and I'm not
Yeah,
happy.
yeah,
But what can you
yeah,
do?
I feel the same way too, where it's one of those things where there's a lot of things that need to be done in my team. As of going into, this upcoming game week, I going into game week 22, I feel like I could get rid of 1, 2, 3, and maybe there's probably 6 or 7 players I could get rid of and
Yeah.
happily be rid of them. But my main thing is game week 22 feels like a very early time to wild card. I don't think 24, 25 are too early, is
No.
where I'm kind of getting to, because there's a fixture shift there that I think really kind of resets and sets you on a path for success over the next kind of like 5 to 10 game weeks after that.
Yeah.
So I just don't think we're there yet where a wild card where I can justify using my last wild card at this point. But as far as my temperature on my team, not happy with them. We have come down with a raging fever, and it's not looking good. So something
Yeah.
needs to be done. So
Yeah. I mean, I relate to that sentiment, Luke. It's
as we talked about.
I yeah, the don't mention a fever. No. But
Okay, well, on that note, what we're gonna do is get into our main segments for this week. What we're doing this week is we are doing kind of a tiered ranking of goalkeepers, defenders, midfielders, and forwards. So, without further ado, what we will probably do, usually we build from the back. So we'll do top down this time, and we will go with the forwards first. So, Paul, tell me the most important forward to have for the remainder of the FPL season.
I mean, so the way you worded that, the only answer to me is Holland.
Okay. Yeah.
He's
Hmm.
the only answer. He's struggling right now, not in great form, not finishing chances. Um, but if we're looking at the remainder of the FPL season, it just simply doesn't make sense to not have him in your team because we know what
Hmm.
happens if he goes on. If you take him out, let's say going into game week 22, if he has 3 goals, the next week he has two, and then he just has one the week after that, whatever the situation is, your
Right.
rank is so low, and you have to do so
Yeah.
much work to make up for that, especially with
Hmm.
his ownership that, like, I would never recommend. Like, partly I wanted to say Thiago because I think he's in great form.
Yeah.
Brentford are playing very well right now.
Hmm.
He's probably like a 1B to Holland's 1A at the moment, but,
Yeah.
like, you just can't play the game that way. I mean, like, we both listen to the FPL General. He's a really good follow on Twitter, and also his podcast is great, and he decided to play this year without Salah and Holland, which Salah, awesome, easy, that works out well. But like without Holland, I mean, there's a reason why it's been so tough. I mean, like playing without Holland is just I wouldn't recommend it to any FPL manager out there.
No, it is inviting pain if you do not have Holland because he's that good and he's that explosive. I mean, if we look at the goal scorers, Holland has 17, I believe. I've got it right here somewhere. I think he has 17 goals, which
That sounds right.
is crazy. Yeah, no, he has 20. Sorry, he has 20.
And
Tiago
he's really
has
slowed down.
16. Yeah, he's slowed down a lot. So, I mean, he's not averaging a goal a game anymore. He's probably at like 0.95 goals per game. So, he's really falling under the pace that he set, and it's pretty
Yeah,
disappointing. But
those are rookie
um
numbers.
yes, they are. They are. I would second what you're saying as well though, because Holland's clearly number 1 in my mind. Number 2 is Tiago. He's a great pick. He's someone that we wanna have in our teams. He's very talismanic for Brentford, and I think we had this discussion at the beginning of the season whenever we were kinda talking about our how we thought the Premier League table would fall this season. I thought that Brentford were gonna be perfectly fine. They brought in a manager who knows the system really well. I didn't expect for him to change that much, and they've found a lot of success. They're sitting 5th in the table right now, which is pretty insane. So he's someone that's really kind of allowed them to get to that point in the table. So I think we need to have him in FPL. I don't have him, and these last 5 goals have absolutely killed me. They have just destroyed me every week. It's one of those where I just need to figure out. So, the last forward, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No, no, no. I was just gonna say, just so people know. So you have Holland, Voltemade, and Bowen right now.
Yes. Yep. So those two forwards, Voltamade or Voldemorte, however you want to pronounce it, and Bowen, both of those two could easily be gone, right? Like both of them are on the chopping block. It's just a matter of which weekend they go. Because Voltamade, don't even know if he's going to start at this point. In the league, in the
Yeah.
League Cup, Eddie Howe started Wissa and Voltamade. Voltamade played as the 10. So that makes you think, why is he not doing this in the league? I'm not sure. Maybe that was a test to see if they can do that. But I do not
Also,
feel optimistic that he's going to start every week. So I can't have him in my team.
Luke, I didn't. I meant to text you about this today, but with the FA Cup fifth round draw, did you see who Villa got?
Hmm.
They got
Newcastle.
Newcastle, which
Yep.
dream matchup for me because one of them has to lose.
The Paul Darby.
Yeah, honestly,
Paul's
hopefully
the villain Darby for Paul. So, yeah, but
they can both
both of
lose.
those forwards can go. And there is a mindset for me where I would not be shocked if at some point in the next couple of weeks I ended up on one starting striker and two uber cheap forwards that I can rotate, which would
Mm.
be Mane with Wolves and then Kruger Jr. with Bournemouth. So, Paul, tell everyone your third forward. Sorry, I've got to let the dog outside. He is not happy with me right now. So, tell everyone your forward, and then I'll catch up with it right in a second. So, keep going.
Yeah. So for my third forward, I'm leaning towards Dominique Calvert Lewin. He has been in excellent form for Leeds right now and just feels like somebody that, I mean, he's consistently returning. We talk about it a lot, but finding those forwards that just are like Harry Kane esque, which I mean, hey, I mean he's not Harry Kane. There's not even in the same world, but having an FPL asset that's consistently returning is something that's really hard to pass on, honestly. And I mean, Leeds fixtures do get a little more difficult, but I mean they perform well against Newcastle away, and we know that's one of the toughest fixtures that you can play in the Premier League. I mean, they scored 3 goals, should have gotten points at St. James Park. So I mean, Leeds are in really good form right now, and
Hmm.
Calvert Lewin's somebody that like Luke was talking about on the pod earlier. Luke was early and then took him out, and now he's on this crazy run where it's what like 8 returns in 9 matches. Like it's something that like shocking, really.
How many goals do you think Calvert Lewin has?
Maybe five,
He has
6.
nine. Nine.
Oh yeah, yeah.
9 goals. Um, okay. Other bit of trivia. Fruity Jr., how many goals do you think he has?
6.
He has seven. He has
Ah, man,
seven.
I wanted to say 7.
And interesting thing
Hmm.
about what we saw from Iriola, with Semenyo gone, Krupi Jr. was lining up as a 10, which is noteworthy because in the past
Luke.
he's played as a 9, as a striker. So usually the fear was Evan Nelson is going to rotate with him and take his spot. I don't think that's going to be a problem because we're seeing he's going to play in multiple positions. So, um, yeah, I think Calvert Lewin has the shout for being, you're kind of like somewhat budget forward who's reliably returning. Might get benched and then play in the second half of a fixture. And then maybe Krupi Jr. is your hyper cheap forward that
Yeah.
allows budget for you
What's
to go
what's
elsewhere.
CP3 right now?
He's 4.6, which is
That's
crazy.
insane.
Yeah, he's
That's insane.
4.6. If you look at it though, so I thought I was building towards a team that would have Saka, Palmer, Bruno Fernandes, and Holland. But I don't think I'm going to go to Palmer now because of the potential injury risk. We'll just see how that plays out. But if I don't go to Palmer, that makes the budget a lot better. So do I have to bring, but then again, I kind of want Krupi Jr. because they have good fixtures and he's that cheap. So we never know. Then that gives you the flexibility. If you bring him in, you're sitting on 3 to 4 million and you can take your team wherever you want to from there. And just kind of
Yeah.
wait around with the cash sitting in the bank. So that might be where I go, but I think, I'll be targeting probably Chelsea. Um, see,
Okay.
I think they have a good fixture run and everything, but
Oh yeah. No, it's but the question about Chelsea though, Luke, is like the fixtures are great, but yeah, we've talked about this off camera, I guess, but that where do you decide like new managers come in, who's going to be starting, what's the system going to be? And I think you've done a little research on this, and we don't have to really dive into it, but there's a lot of question marks around Chelsea whenever they literally this is probably their fixtures from I'd say probably what 23, 24, and on is arguably the best run that
I mean,
anybody has for
Brentford
like an
Brentford at home
extended
is
period.
great. They go Brentford at home, Crystal Palace away, West Ham at home, Wolves away, Leeds at home, and I could keep going on. But just those 5 alone are really, truly incredible fixtures that I think, it's something that we need to be locked into, that Chelsea have a great run, and that, that's a great segue because my bonus forward that I think is an honorable mention that if you're looking for a very cheeky differential
Mhm,
that is most likely going to be starting week in, week out for Chelsea now is what I think is Liam Delap. I think
mhm.
Delap is going to be Rosenary's. I think that's how you pronounce the name. Um,
That's right to me.
he's going to be his starting nine, I believe, because he
Yeah.
actually managed Delap when he played a whole city. So
Okay.
that's where he started out as manager. He took his first team manager position at Hull City, and he managed Delap while he was there. He played Delap in multiple attacking positions. I think Delap kind of rotated through primarily a wing position. Interesting enough, but he's got more than enough wingers at Chelsea that Delap is not built to be playing wing. So,
Oh, yeah,
but
they
I
only
think
have a
that
brilliant winger.
relationship, I think he'll probably play. Um, Delap as the 9 is what I'm thinking, so, that's a cheeky little picker there for anybody who's thinking about it. I'm trying to,
Yeah. So, look,
look up his
I really
price
like
real
that,
quick.
and I do wanna highlight real quick that it's kinda understated, but Chelsea play, let's see, 4 4 games before their last fixture against Napoli in the Champions League in January, where
Mhm.
they're gonna be in London the whole time. So they play Arsenal in London,
That yeah, no,
Stamford
that's
Bridge,
good.
Brentford at Stamford Bridge, then they have a Champions League game in the Crystal Palace away, which is, of course, in South London, so travel's
Wow.
gonna be low. So, I mean, that's probably gonna
Yeah.
let the squad recuperate a little bit,
No,
keep those, like,
that'll be
extra
good.
miles off,
That's
so
a good note there. Let me go grab West. He's barking at the neighbors. I'll be right back. So if you want to, Paul, hop into your midfield picks and just catch me up when I get right back.
yeah. So, for midfield options here, in my mindset, for the midfielders, I just want people that are gonna consistently return. You know, if somebody's hitting DEFCON, we're just looking at ceiling here to me. I think, and this is really in no order, but I have Rice, Bruno Fernandez, Semenyo, and also Wilson from Fulham. The four of them, I think, are going to be really good assets, and honestly, at a really, really good different like price levels. Where I mean, there's nobody the highest in that list is probably Bruno Fernandez, who's 9.1, but he's healthy now. He got an assist in the last fixture he just played. United could be better under a new manager. We'll have to see what this current setup is. That's the only question I would have about Bruno.
Did you hear they've appointed Carrick as the interim manager?
Oh no, I did not. I did not see that.
Yeah, so he'll be taking over, um, which is good because I think he's been the interim manager in the past, and if I recall correctly, Bruno Fernandes always played as a 10 under him,
That's
um,
big.
so
But they
that is
also didn't
good.
have Cunha then too. So
They didn't have what?
they didn't have Cunha.
Yeah,
Acuna
that's the
Matata,
thing
you
is
know.
where if you if you play Bruno as the 10, where do you play Cunha? Because he really, truthfully, doesn't make sense as a winger. Like that's not where he's at his best. And Mbomo, this is a good note for our listeners out there. Mbomo will be back for game week 22. So
Oh yeah, they fell out
he
AFCON.
did lose an AFCON, so he will be back. Whether or not he's ready to play or start,
Yeah, that's true.
that I'm not sure. We kind of wait for the notes on that one. But Bruno Fernandez, I think his value is increasing. But
Yeah,
also, United did lose to Brighton in the FA Cup. So don't get
dude,
too excited about United because
Brighton have terrorized United over the past couple years.
yeah, maybe it would have to be new manager bounce at this point, new interim manager bounce, kind of, because if you look at their last results, I didn't realize how bad they were, but out of the last 4 games, so this is across different competitions, Manchester United drew with Wolves 1-1 at home. No, that was away. That was away. 1-1 away. 1-1 with Leeds at Ellen Road. 2-2 to Burnley, and then they lost to Brighton most recently. So it's not been a good run of form for Manchester United, but I think we still hold out the hope that Bruno Fernandes is going to still be a really good pick in FPL.
Yeah. No, I mean
Yeah,
he's we'll have to see how it plays out with the change in formation, all those things, but he probably, even if he isn't a 10, does have the off chance of any of the 10s in the Premier League of hitting DEFCON 2 as well, just for his work
yeah,
rate, how he kind
hmm
of plays off the ball. So we'll have
yeah.
to keep an eye on that
No, I agree.
evolving situation.
I
And
did hear you say, Paul, that that Semenyo was one of your top midfield picks. Talk me through how you feel about that and whether or not you're worried about Pep Roulette with Semenyo.
yeah, I mean, pepper roulette's always going to be a problem with any city asset. I think, especially with Foden now, if you're an older kind of like me, you're probably questioning a lot of things because there's even more options now with Semenyo. But sorry about that. But I do think that one second.
Better? I can
Here.
here, I can go through my
No, no,
midfield
no, no.
picks
No,
if
no,
you
you're
want.
good. You're good. I'm good. Um, Semenyo, I think, is going to be playing consistent minutes in the City team. I think he's a profile that they really need. A strong ball carrier, can strike the ball with either foot. Very creative. I mean, I don't think Pep's that crazy to bring him in and just like casually use him. I think he's going to be playing some pretty heavy minutes, and maybe it's just 70, 75 a week. But if he
Um,
really beds into the team, builds good relationship with Holland, with some of the other midfielders. I mean, Rodri's back, so I mean that really changes the solidity of the city team. God, I can't talk today, but I think that like it's kind of like a wait and see. But if he's playing heavy minutes in the city team, he's still going to be one of the best FPL assets out there.
yeah. Yeah. I I think City are bringing him in as someone who can be a finisher of chances. They don't want him to be creating a crazy amount of chances because you have Cherokee, who is one of the most creative players in the Premier League already in his sh- short duration at City.
For
Foden, who's
sure.
also really great at creating chances. Doku's really good at creating chances too, right? So I see a potential where we almost see Semenyo playing as like a winger slash secondary striker with Holland, where it's someone who can provide a little more support to Holland, maybe create some chances for him, but also be up there to put away more chances than what they've done in the past
Yeah.
because that's been Doku's main problem. Savino, Oscar Bob, all these players they've had on the wing, they just haven't had someone who's gonna convert chances. But Semenyo will, and he'll convert really difficult, high difficulty chances. So, I
Yeah.
actually had Semenyo on my list as well too. I think he's a very intriguing pick for FPL and someone that now that he's at City, maybe he'll be coming into my team. And really kind of what the shame is that he rose in price the way that he did at the start of the year. So he's a lot more expensive than he started out at. I think he started out at, what was he, 7 million? Maybe? I think it was 7 million because now
There you
he's
go.
at, not sure what he's at right now. It's not saying. But the thing about it though is I think Semenyo will be a really good pick going forward. So um, I'm excited to see how he kind of beds in at Manchester City. So
Yeah, I agree with you. Like
um,
we'll have to, that's kind of like the same thing as Bruno. I know I'm recommending some risky players to people, but like
mhm.
high upside for both of those, Bruno and Semenyo. You know.
Yes, I completely agree. I had the same thought as well. I had Bruno on my list too. Um, and then the other two that I had, so I had Enzo Fernandez as one of the best picks for midfielders.
Okay.
And then I
Yeah.
really like Kevin Shada as well. I think he's a
Okay.
really solid pick. He's creating a lot of chances, and we know he can have explosive games too.
Hmm.
Now over the course of multiple seasons, we've seen him bag a hat trick in a game, and not many players are able to do that. So I think he's a very unique pick for us in FPL. So
Yeah.
I also do like Brentford's fixtures as well, and they are maybe the most informed team, right? Over the course of
Hmm.
the last 3 to 5 game weeks. So I like that pick a lot. And I mean, they have decent fixtures coming up with Brentford. They have Chelsea away, Forest at home, Villa away. Might not be that difficult of a fixture, but Newcastle away and then Arsenal at home. So I can see Brentford getting points in any of those fixtures they're playing. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is a difficult stretch for Brentford, but I mean, we know that they match up very well against even like all the top six teams. They're always going to pose a
Mhm.
problem, and like you're right. Chata, Tiago seem like really good assets to have. And hey,
Yeah,
even if you went on a Chata Tiago double up, I mean, it's like earlier in the season when I had Munoz and Mateta, and there was probably like it happened twice in one game where you got an assist to a goal. And there were probably 10 other instances where that could have happened another time, you know? So, I
yeah.
mean, getting those sequences of play where you get the assist and the goal, that does like that completely changes your game week, you know?
It does. No, it really does. I remember when you had Munoz and Mateta, and I think Munoz assist, Mateta goal, and then it happened again. And I got the notification knowing that you had both of them in your team. And I was like,
Yeah.
please God, let this be a repeat notification. It's not another Munoz assist to Gahey goal. Like, sorry, to Mateta goal. That's one of those moments where you just want to like chuck the phone as far as you can and say, I'm done. I'm done with this
But
week.
see, the thing about it, Luke, is that like I wasn't wrong for doing that though at all because I mean, like
They're good
the
picks.
odds
Yeah.
were going to
Hmm.
say that like I'd seen it 4 or 5 times where I was like, oh, why didn't Mateta finish that chance? Like Munoz put the ball on a platter for him, and it's like, well, shit, might as
Hmm.
well have both of them in my FPL team because it'll happen
Yeah.
eventually.
The thought
And
being
now Munoz
eventually they
is hurt.
connect. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Are there any I liked your Harry Wilson pick as well. I think that's one of the things I've been kicking myself about the last couple of weeks. I moved a little too fast and thought I was being, super
You're being
smart,
slick.
and I got rid of Wilson for James Gardner, which is not good. And you love to see Gardner taking penalties in the FA Cup. So, you know,
That see,
you
that's the life of an FPL manager, Luke, is that we watch these games, we have ideas, and we're like, this is gonna play out. And then it plays out when you least want it to. Like it's the same thing for Anthony Gordon taking a pen in the FA Cup, you know?
yeah. Yeah, just like
Yeah.
Champions League and all those as well, where you make the right pick, it's just the wrong time. And one of these
Yeah.
seasons, I'm gonna get the timing right, and things are gonna go really well, where I'm just gonna be flying, hopefully. But
I mean, it can happen this season though. You just have to
up to this point, it
hand the ball.
hasn't been the right time for me. But
Yeah,
that's why we
that's
keep
fair.
playing, because eventually we'll get it right. Hopefully, I better. So,
I mean, the law of
let's
averages, it's like if you play 80 years, Luke, eventually, right? You know?
That's yes, that's when my workout routine and diet are really gonna kick in. So, like I said, be ready for the PDF on how to diet for FPL. So,
I'm
yeah,
good.
okay, let's look at defenders. And then after
Yeah.
defenders, we'll quickly go through goalkeepers. I will start out the defender that I think is one of the best picks in the upcoming game weeks is Senesi. I
What?
really like Senesi a lot. Hear me out. There's multiple
There's only
reasons.
one number one pick, Luke. Let's be real.
No, okay. Here's the thing. I didn't put Gabriel on my list because I knew you would have Gabriel. And I knew Gabriel should be number one on my list. So I kind of, for the sake of the podcast, I didn't put Gabriel number one. But Gabriel,
Fair.
keep scoring goals because you're in my team. So Gabriel would be number one, but for the sake of kind of like what we're doing here, I didn't put him as number one. And good
Okay.
catch
Okay.
there.
Fair.
I know. Yeah. So I have Senesi number one. I like the upcoming fixtures for the next five. Bournemouth have Brighton away, Liverpool at home, Wolves away, Villa at home, and Everton away. He's consistently hitting DEFCON week in, week out. He had one of the highest XGs last week for defenders, so easily could have scored a goal. And here's the most important point. I think that Bournemouth are going to change how they approach every game. With losing Semenyo, you're losing a big part of your team and how you
Yeah.
try to address any game that's coming up. So I think they're going to try to approach it with more of a defensive mindset. Really
Maybe.
try to prioritize keeping clean sheets. And I think Senesi's someone who, if we see the clean sheets start to flow, he has that attacking threat, but he also has the DEFCON potential where you can almost count on him getting DEFCON points week in, week out. So Senesi
You know,
is my number one pick for defenders.
well, you also could say too, Luke, that like if Bournemouth are gonna adapt how they're playing these games, I think the reason why he hits DEFCON so much is because of their attacking style. They lose the ball, teams come back at them, and they're more open. So he has to make these tackles, interceptions, headers, whatever it is. If they're not as open, I mean, you could argue maybe DEFCON will be easier for him to hit or harder too, depending on the setup. So that's a situation where you probably need to use the eye test a lot to sit there and like
Yeah.
watch the game and see how many opportunities does he even have to hit DEFCON if they're playing differently, you know?
But in that scenario, let's say they're and Bournemouth really are not a team that love to overly possess the ball. They're not going to keep the ball for the sake of, passing the ball around, kind of like some of Pep's teams. But I
Yeah.
think even if they have less possession, that's better for him because that's more of a chance that a midfielder tries to slip through a pass to a striker and he can get an interception. Or there's a clearance off corner, right? I think those situations continue to rise if, like I'm thinking they do, they get a little bit more defensive in how they approach each fixture.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just a
I mean,
thought.
you could
So
you're right. You're
you will
right.
take that and run with it. But who is number so you have Gabriel Paul. I think that's pretty self-evident for all the listeners out there, but give us a quick high-level overview on why you picked him as number one.
I mean, goal scoring threat. Arsenal are statistically the best defense in the Premier League. The fixtures aren't they kind of bounce back and forth over the next 10, you know? But this is a team
Mhm.
that, I mean, has a possibility of keeping a clean sheet against whoever you say is the next best team in the world. They have a chance keeping a clean sheet against them, you know?
Yeah,
The defense
yeah.
is getting healthier. When Calafiori really returns, who knows when that will be? We haven't really heard anything about him. They, with the possession they have, with the defenders, it's very hard to score against this Arsenal team. And then you have Gabriel's set piece ability, and Arsenal did just bring in a consultant for their long throws, so you could see Gabriel become a threat even on those as well. So, hey, you just wait.
If it
The
for
long throw,
him, what
great.
I see coming out of that is maybe he's the target figure for the long throw, and then maybe some assists come out of that for him,
Yeah, yeah. But
potentially.
I mean, Gabriel at this point, I mean, everybody knows we're halfway through the season. He can score a goal any point in time if Arsenal get a corner, and that's just the simple
Hmm.
fact, you know.
Yep.
Um, but next on my list, I'll just read off the remainder. So I have
Sure.
Chalba, Timber, and Gahey.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. I have Gahey as well. Yep.
Yeah, he's
I
having a great season for Palace. The big
yeah.
thing before you say something, Luke, Gahey, if he stays at Palace, great asset. If he goes somewhere else, if he's going to be playing minutes, still a really good asset. You know, it just depends on where he goes. If he goes to City, we see the pep roulette. If he goes to Arsenal, that's probably not as likely. But if he goes to Arsenal, probably not going to be playing as much. You know,
If he goes to Man City, I think he's going to be in everybody's teams
he could.
because
Yeah,
Guardiola was kind of their only left-sided center back at this point. And
yeah,
with him being out
yeah,
for the rest of the season, I think he's one of those very steady, reliable players, and he's got a lot of really good, you know, assets with how he play with how his game is designed. He's great at carrying the ball at his feet and making progressive runs, but his passing's also really good too. So I think that's something that City desperately need as a left-sided center
yeah.
back.
I mean,
I would expect
he's
for
just
him
a
to be
really good
playing
footballer.
almost week in, week out. And he has set piece threat too. We've seen this season that if he gets forward, he can finish chances, which goes a really long way.
Yeah,
That's why I
yeah.
get he
No,
on
you're
my list. And let's say that he does stay, let's say he does stay at Crystal Palace. I still think he's a good pick at Crystal Palace too, because I think they'll start to right the
yeah,
ship. We can already see them bringing players in from for the January window, and I would hopefully expect for that to continue. Right, or maybe they give them even a little bit more support, because what's happened as of late is their players have just worn down. They can't manage the minutes, and you can just see their stamina is not what it was at the start of the season. And Glasner plays a
no,
pretty intense system, right? There's a lot of running for especially the wing backs and his central midfielders too. So I will, hopefully they get in replacements who can back them up and shore up the squad. And then we see Crystal Palace start to move back up the table again.
yeah, yeah. They
But
deserve to. I mean, they had a great start to the season. I'm not going to get on my Palace high horse because I think everybody in this podcast knows that like there's a lot of love and admiration for what this squad's done so far this season, but they really do deserve to be higher in the table. But I'll stop.
yeah, yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. So the okay, and with the mention of this player, Paul, you can't get too mad. I think the third best defensive asset for us to look at
I know where you're going.
is Matty Cash.
Yeah,
I think he's a
I'm not
good
mad.
pick. He
I'm
scored
not mad. I
goals.
swear.
I'm not Maddie. Sorry. That was bad. That was bad. Okay, I regret that one already.
Oh
So
man, we need to wrap this shit up.
Aston Villa have Everton at home, Newcastle away, Brentford at home, Bournemouth away, and Brighton at home. Some of those fixtures are red on the fixture ticker, but I really don't think it's that bad. Newcastle away, not a horrible fixture. And I think, being that they're playing each other multiple times, so whether it's upcoming here in the Premier League and they're playing again in the FA Cup fourth round with how the draw happened,
Mhm.
I expect to see goals in those games, right? I think they're going to go at it and really try to, cause other teams some pain. So I see some goals there, and I think Matty Cash is one of those defenders that he's always in and around the box. He's always getting chances. So he's someone that I think could be an interesting pick for FPL. I mean, we have Villa sitting third in the table, and
Mm.
really they haven't gotten a lot of love in this podcast. So maybe it's time
Yeah,
we
why would
start maybe it's time though. We start recognizing that, I don't think they're competing for the Premier League title, but they pretty easily could end up third or fourth in the table, right? Like maybe they're right where they should be. So
yeah.
I think looking at their defenders is very interesting, and Cash has 3 goals and 2 assists this season. He's someone to consider. He's not crazy expensive either. So I think Cash is
Yeah.
someone to keep an eye on. If you're wild carding, maybe someone that you keep in throw into a wild card.
Yeah. I think it's a good person to probably have in your team. I don't know if he's a week in and week out kind of player defender that I'd have in my team, but I mean, you see a really good fixture for Villa. Like, whew, if you see they have, let's say,
Everton at home.
Everton at home, Burnley at home. I was gonna say Wolves, but honestly, that's probably not a great fixture to start a defender against right now, just with the way they're playing, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Never didn't think I'd this year.
Wolves have
So
been looking better. They've been looking better lately. So
things changed,
all right.
people. Teams change.
That is gonna wrap us up on defenders, and we'll very quickly go through goalkeepers. Paul, do you want to go first on these and just maybe provide your top three, and then we can quickly talk about each one of ours, and then we'll get out of here for the night.
Yeah, yeah. This is gonna be really matter of fact. Raya, Roofs, and Sanchez.
Huh.
And
Really?
yeah,
Okay. I think that there's an omission there. I think Kelleher is a great pick, and he saved
yeah,
three
I
penalties.
Luke,
His
Luke, I
value
disagree
is
with you.
incredible.
I mean, so
His
his
value
value
is
is great, and
so
like
good.
I own him right now. But what I'm saying is that like if you look at their fixtures, their next five are horrendous. They play Chelsea away, Nottingham Forest at home, Villa away, Newcastle away, and Arsenal at home. I would if I was a betting man, which no DraftKings plug, we're not doing that shit. Um, I would say that they're going to keep one clean sheet of five.
Did I not tell you about our new partnership with DraftKings?
Sorry, we're not like yeah, I'm not
Redacting
going to
that
call out
part of the
any podcast.
podcast.
Yeah,
No, no.
for
Okay,
legal reasons, I'm not going to say anything.
I hear what you're saying. I get it. The fixtures aren't great, but I think he's a great sit and forget goalkeeper. You can rotate out if you need to, but Forest at home's a really good fixture for Brentford,
It is, but
right?
one.
I
It's
even think
one of five.
Chelsea away, Brentford are designed to play against teams like Chelsea. That's how they play the best, right? Whenever they can play those teams higher up in the table, they'll love to possess. They're going to find
Yeah.
some success. I'm going to say it now. Brentford are going to beat Chelsea in game week 22. You
Okay.
just wait.
Bold prediction.
I'm calling it now, but I really think that's what's going to happen because that's how they're kind of designed to play. So, um,
I hope
yeah.
so.
Okay. My goalkeeper picks.
Let's hear.
I keep this nice and straight. I have Kelleher as number one because I think he's such good
You
value and
disagree
he's
so
easy
strongly.
to have in your team for the long rest of the season. You don't have to ask any questions. Even if he's playing Arsenal at the Emirates, he could save a Gyökeres penalty. Just throwing that out there because he's really good at saving penalties. That's a great asset to have as goalkeeper
And you
for
think
FPL.
Jokeresh is going to be starting? Ha 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 ha! Funny boy.
All right. My second goalkeeper is Raya. I think Raya is the price point is prohibitive for a lot of people because you don't want to be spending six. I think he's six now. He might be more than that. He might have risen again, but he's around 6 million for a goalkeeper. That's very expensive. And I don't know if I want to be paying that much. So I don't love that. And then finally for the third goalkeeper, I have Jordan Pickford. I think Pickford is a good pick. I have Pickford's a good pick. I like the fixtures that Everton have coming up. He they have Villa away, Leeds at home, Brighton away, Fulham away, and then Bournemouth at home. All of those, I could see a clean sheet in there. I don't know how likely they are, but there'll be two or three clean sheets across the next five for Everton. So I'm pretty positive on that as well. I feel pretty good about that. I have Tarkowski right now, and he's not going anywhere in my team. So um
Yeah,
yeah, as
yeah.
far as
I
Michael
respect
Keane
that.
owners, really unfortunate. I would probably move him on at this point though, because you don't want to have him sitting in your team as a dead spot for 3 game weeks.
No,
So
for sure.
yeah.
Needs to go. But that's probably about it for us on this pod, right, Luke?
Yep, that is gonna bring us to the end here. Do you have any final thoughts, suggestions, questions for the listeners?
I would just say like, subscribe, follow us on whatever platform you're seeing, comments, all those things really mean a lot to helping us grow the podcast. And realistically, it's not because we want to see a crazy number on our YouTube channel or on Spotify. We just want to engage with more people. Like, we just want to have more discourse, have different conversations. So we could probably be better about this, Luke, on the pod of like saying, hey, just hit that follow button, you know? But we don't want to be those guys, but it does help a lot. So if you're still listening, leave a comment, give us a like, and just say hi. But I would say big point for FPL managers right now, kind of after the holiday fixtures are over. Just make sure you're putting the team in a good place for this kind of final, not final, but this kind of like a mid-season refresh, you know,
Yep.
to get you
Mhm.
to the three-fourths and then also the final part of the season. So yeah, I'm excited for
Yeah.
it, Luke. What about you?
My final note, I intentionally saved for then the podcast for those listeners who really have our hearts and our ears as well. Game week 26 could potentially be a double game week for Arsenal. And Arsenal in game week 26, after playing Leeds in game week 24 and then Sunderland in game week 25, could play Brentford and then Wolves as a part of a double game week in game week 26. It all depends on how things go against Chelsea on the upcoming EFL fixture that they have this week. That'll happen on Wednesday, but keep an eye out on that. If Arsenal win and we have them doubling in game week 26, don't be getting rid of Saka going into that, is all I gotta say. Make
Yeah,
sure
yeah,
you're laying the groundwork to be tripled up on Arsenal for that because that is one of those weeks that we all want to be a part of. So, yeah, on that note, thanks for listening, everyone. It's been a pleasure, and we'll be back with you all next week. Thanks for joining us.
thanks everybody. See you soon.